In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 things you need to avoid when you're trying to grow on social media, whether that's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. These 5 things you want to avoid as much as possible because if you are doing these, it's more or less going to hurt your account by gaining followers, gaining traction, help growing your business. So let's jump right into it. Now, the first one is being inconsistent. This one sometimes gets very difficult for people that are first just starting off when it comes to social media because they think it's very easy just to point, shoot, and record their videos. But in reality, you need to really set up what you're going to talk about, where you're going to shoot these videos, and then you also have to edit. Now, editing comes down to a few different things. Depending on how crazy you want to go with it, you could always send it out to someone, or if you do it yourself, you have to still figure out time that you're going to edit your videos. This can take a long time, and before you realize it, you made a video, you edit it, and it's weeks later, and you actually haven't posted. So have a schedule, you know what you're going to be shooting, and know when you're going to edit this. By having this all figured out and scheduled out, you actually be more consistent. Now, whether you're posting once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, it's always different for each and every person who's ever doing their videos. But once you do find that right spot that's perfect for you, that helps grow with the audience, stick with that because that is going to help you out, and try to schedule and post around the same time as well. So whether that's a Monday afternoon, a Wednesday morning, or even a Friday afternoon, whatever seems to be the best time frame, go with that. Number 2 is copying. And what I mean by this is you're always going to be looking on social media, you're going to be listening, you're going to be reading things. So you're always learning from other people. But what you need to do is give it your own spin. If you literally just verbatim repeat what someone says or copy their text or whatever you're doing to copy the content you're consuming, you're not going to get the followers. Now, granted, you might get a few here and there, but you're not going to grow the way you want to because you're not giving your authentic self, but you're also not giving your twist on it. So people don't really understand why they need to follow you or check with you, because if you're doing the same content as someone else and they find that person, it makes more sense just to follow them because not only are they going to get sooner, but they're also getting their own taste from that person, and they're just seeing a copycat, which, like I said, more likely than not, they're not going to follow you. Now, number 3, this comes down to poor videos. And what I mean by this is not understanding how you want to record your videos. So if you have poor audio, poor visual, anything along those effects, this could really hurt your video. Now, that all being said, when you do start shooting videos, do not expect it to look perfect. It's going to take time to understand how you actually want to shoot your videos. And even later as you go, tinker around with that. And sometimes when you do tinker with that, you may have some issues or you may run into some problems, but that's okay. As long as you keep learning from what you're actually doing and you learn from how you want to shoot and create better videos, this will help you in the long run, because then you can always go back and look what sometimes did work or something that did not work, but at least you are understanding and tinkering around with your videos, because your audience will see that and actually may comment. And if they do comment, that's going to help the algorithm actually show that people are interested in these videos and therefore help get in front of more viewers, which, as we talked about in other videos, if you're in front of more viewers, the chances of getting more followers and growing your business obviously goes up. And therefore, again, this is something that can really help your channel. Now, number 4, this one I think is probably the biggest talking point that most people do not realize. And yes, some people are going to say maybe you should not listen to this one, but it's actually not following your niche or what your audience really wants you for. So think about this. If you first start talking about sports and all the sports teams that you really enjoy, and then 2 months later you start talking about cooking, there's a good possibility that people that first started following you were not going to watch those other videos. Because of this, when you start doing these different transitions to different topics, your audience now is not going to tune in. So therefore, the algorithm is going to see this, that even the people that follow you don't want to watch this content. They then won't even show it to anyone else. So if you do want to pivot and everything, you can definitely do that, but typically you want to do it a little bit slower or start a new channel. And what I mean by that is, think about, again, if we're talking about sports and you do want to pivot to cooking, talk about what sport athletes eat. This by itself will slowly pivot in that direction. So you will get some people that want to learn about sports, but also about cooking, and you'll still get the viewerships, and eventually you can steer into that cooking channel if you want to. And obviously you could go any direction if you wanted to. But if you are sporadically posting different things each and every video, your audience isn't really going to know what you're talking about. Now, granted, there are the 1% people that do this and it does work out, but typically they have such a large audience already that they're able to do that. Usually they start off talking about one topic and hitting over and over and over as they grew that account. And like I said, as you keep growing, you're going to get this wider bubble and you are going to have people on the fringe that are going to want to learn more things about you. And that's when you can actually start doing the different topics. But when you're first starting off and trying to grow your channel, you definitely want to start a little more niche, and therefore, again, stick to that for a while. And like I said, as you continue to grow, that's when you start going down different avenues. Now, number 5, this one, you want to make sure you don't come off too slow in your videos, because nowadays people want real quick type videos. They want to see quick transitions, or again, they want to get the education as quickly as possible. If you start going on a long tangent and start talking about random things before you're getting to the point, this itself can really hurt your videos. Now, granted, depending on what you're talking about, some people may tune in for the entire video because they obviously want to hear everything in that video. But if you're on, say, TikTok, they want to know what the video is about in the first 3 to 5 seconds. And even then, they may want to already see what happened and swipe past that. And if this does happen, that's not the end of the world. But like I said, the majority of the time, you have to get your point across fairly early in your video, or at least in the talking point of what we're going to discuss in the video. Because if you're not doing that, again, you're just sporadically throwing information out in all directions. Your audience doesn't understand, or the viewers don't understand what is going on, and most likely are going to click off. And like I said, if that happens, that really hurts your algorithm. It really helps the view rate, and therefore, like I said, it's going to decrease your chances of actually getting more people to see your videos and help grow your audience. So I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, comment down below what you think is the most beneficial thing to avoid when you're making your content. And if you did enjoy this, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video.